welcome to a WoW podcast. Obviously, episode number
26.
I'm your host, Taliesin.
And I'm Arathi.
Hooray! And
Yay.
welcome to the podcast. Yay!
Hooray.
Just like that, we're here. We're so professional.
I know,
We're
on a
so good at
Tuesday,
this.
no
We are
less.
absolutely brilliant. This is a Tuesday, Avatar.
It is a
We're
Tuesday.
recording our podcast on a Tuesday. Usually we do it on a Thursday. When we do it, and we did it on a Saturday once at Gamescom, and that was fun as well.
Remember
but you
that
know
one?
What? Oh, I like Tuesday. I could get used to some Tuesday action.
I think
which
we
is just
could.
well, because I think that's what we're going to do from now on.
I think we absolutely are. So Thursdays we're just a little bit busy. You know what it got in the way of, Tally?
What did it get in the way? Was it our monthly copulation?
Yes.
On certain Thursdays when the moon is full.
Yes, exactly that. But also me frantically trying to research and write some weekly reset stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It just kind of got in the way of that. We've never been able to do Tuesdays because we had a baby that wasn't in daycare on Tuesdays.
Exactly.
But now the baby is in daycare on Tuesdays. So
is.
high five.
Yeah.
And I come bearing gifts. Not only an amazing Tuesday research, but today we're going to be talking about season 1, which starts today. And that means loads of change. That means really, for many people, the game literally begins. It's been 3 weeks of treading water and complaining there's nothing to do.
Oh, absolutely nothing to do.
And
I'm
now
being facetious.
it's tier lists, it's damage profiles, it's maximizing the Great Vault, it's PvP.
It is.
I know you love PvP.
I love PvP.
And maybe it is some new cinematics at the end of the raid today as well. But not only that, but Evertel finished her Loremaster today.
Yesterday, sir. Thank you very much.
You can tell us all about the story and your kind of like final say on it.
Exactly.
And I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely everything.
And also, even more gifts, I just put 3 episodes of the podcast up on your favorite podcast listening services.
Oh,
because
well done.
I had been neglecting that. Do you know why I'd been neglecting it?
Why is that?
Well, do you remember when we did our podcast at Gamescom, right?
I do.
And halfway through, I finally listened to everyone and cranked the sound up and made everyone's ears hurt.
How could I forget?
Well, I knew that when it came to putting that one up, I was going to have to like put it into Premiere and like fix the sound. And it took me 6 minutes to do it, Evertel. But that 6 minutes is the reason why I haven't been putting any podcasts up on the thing, because I was like, oh, I got to do that. Oh, well, I can't do that because if I want to put that episode up, I have to put it into Premiere and I have to edit it and I have to do all that. But I did it. I finally did it. So if you check your feed now, there are 3 episodes, all completely out of date and worthless and pointless now.
But joyful to listen to, of
The
course.
Gamescom one was particularly good, actually.
It was lots of fun. It was lots of fun. Can I also say that we have yet another gift to offer today?
I completely forgot.
I know you did.
Can we pretend that I didn't forget that?
No.
And that actually, that was an amazing kind of lead-in that I just did to that.
Yeah, it was a very good long build-up into the ultimate gift, which is we have a spare War Within Collector's Edition just knocking around.
Well, hang on. Tell the truth. Why have we got a spare collector's edition knocking around?
Well, I think we have multiple spares at this point, but this one is a spare because we took part in the WoW Variety Show, episode number 4, and I'm remembering my episodes so well today. All the numbers are just like lighting up in my brain. I'm just really
so proud of you. Do you know what? That's why I always stand your corner when people slag you off online.
Thank you. People slag me off online? When?
No.
Has anyone ever slagged me off? Except for, I remember once someone told me I remember very, very early days, one of the YouTube comments we got, and it's always stuck with me. I don't know why this one out of all.
No, are you gonna reveal they really got to you?
No,
it's gonna be a victory 8 years later.
No. It was one of those one of the ones where I was like, why would you even bother saying this? But someone commented and was like, she doesn't know how to apply lipstick. I was like, how dare you, internet man? How very dare you, 2016 man on the internet? Going onto his YouTube account and commenting on my video and telling me that I don't know how to apply my own lipstick. Sir, I hope you have recovered.
I'm no
because
expert.
I haven't.
I'm no expert, but I think your lipstick is amazing. I'm a
thanks,
huge fan of your lipstick. I like it all over my face.
Yeah. So we took part in the WoW Variety Show, which was loads of fun. I know some of you guys tuned in.
But it's not the taking part that counts as Evertel, it's the winning.
Exactly. And we actually won loads of stuff, which is surprising and fun and cool.
Was it surprising? Because we're actually absolute lore aficionados. When it comes to that scavenger hunt, we actually nailed the scavenger hunt after being well behind after the first clue in the scavenger hunt because we misunderstood the assignment and didn't really know how it worked.
Yeah.
And we were way behind, but we caught up with a plum. We were brilliant and we won loads of stuff. We've got game time up the wazoo right now.
Oh, thank goodness.
Which has all been applied to our accounts. But this one we can give away. The WoW Collector's Edition. And because we haven't even got it, because WoW are going to send, Blizz are going to send it to us, and we can be like, can you send it to someone else instead?
Yeah, exactly. So as far as I'm aware, anyone anywhere can get this. So no restrictions. This isn't just UK. This isn't just EU. Not even just US. Anyone on the planet, in theory, is entitled to win this beautiful collector's edition, which we will be giving away today. So podcast
it comes with this big statue that
so
you can't see if you're listening to on your favorite podcast listening platform, and also if you're listening on your favorite podcast
you also
platform,
cannot win this.
The competition ended like 3 weeks ago. Sorry,
over.
I only put the podcast up now.
So think of this as a little perk for you guys who are tuning in live, just as a thank you.
We're gonna give that shit away like live on the podcast. I haven't decided how we're gonna do it yet, but
I'm not sure. We'll just have to take a I'll find a widget that will take someone from the chat. Maybe we'll ask for like a word, like we do, usual.
Sounds like the kind of thing we probably should have done before we started this podcast.
Yes,
maybe we can
possibly
make the competition like in the comments, and we can draw a winner like later.
Exactly.
Like
you know what? That would allow people who aren't watching live to take part, which is actually very nice and inclusive. That's a nice idea, Tally.
I've done this before.
Okay, so we'll do that. So we'll do that a little bit later. Also, quick reminder for anyone who would like to drop us a question or comment, something for us to read out loud at the end. That is what the super chat button is for.
Michael Prorock is already on it, mate. Thank you, Michael Prorock, for your super chat. The first of hundreds, probably. So, get your question in quickly, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. So that function is there for you. So Tally, what are we going to be talking about today?
Today, well, I've already said, we're going to be talking about season 1.
Hey.
And you know what's, well, also we're going to be having your like story run through of the story and things like that. Which I'm thoroughly looking forward to, because I haven't done like any of the side quests, basically. I've only just started to chip at some of the ones at Donegal and stuff like that. And I'm way behind with my season 1 prep as well. So
what about your raid prep?
Yeah, well, that starts on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So I should definitely be, I don't even know what eye level I'm supposed to have
right
and
now.
stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure I can bump that shit. I've been saving my coffer keys for the start of season 1.
Good. That was the first thing I was going to ask you.
Yes, I think NA, as we are recording this, I believe they are offline right now. They'll be coming back on a little bit later this afternoon. And when they do, it is all hands to deck. It is race time. But it's not even the race to world first that I care about when it first starts. It is the heroic race to world first, and whoever is going to get, or the normal race to world first even, and whoever is going to get to that cinematic at the end of the expansion, at the end of the raid first. So what do you know about the raid, like anything, like story, fights, anything like that? Have you picked up anything in the build up to all of this?
I know very little about it, apart from the fact that it's kind of like deposing the existing leadership of like Azj-Kahet.
Yeah,
right?
and it's really interesting because we were saying last week about the mainline story of the War Within, that I think it's one of the best, if not the best, leveling stories that WoW has ever had, because it's so beautifully structured, and it actually does have, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and they're both kind of exciting, and it does have a nice kind of rounding off and sort of climax, and You
Nice.
know, it's
Have you tested it? Have you played through it?
Well, no, the campaign. The War Within campaign.
Sorry.
We were talking about last week, and you know the way it finishes off with that cinematic with Zalatath and with Alleria and the scenario and stuff like that. That's a good ending.
Yes.
Which is great because usually the ending to the leveling campaign is in the raid, and it kind of is, but it like dealing with Queen Ansarek and you know all of the new Nerubians and the what are they called, the evolved Nerubians,
The Ascended.
Thank you. That is still very important. And what all of your kind of world quests and stuff in Ashkahet are sort of geared towards, you know, infiltrating the enemy and kind of Suramar-esque sort of collecting supplies and stopping this supply line and like assassinating this politician and stuff like that. And I think it's kind of cool. But it's I feel like we've had the end of the story for this patch. So what are you hoping for from the story of the raid and the potential cinematic that's going to come?
I mean, I guess it's just going to be kind of a segue into what's coming next.
But is that what you're expecting? You're expecting some kind of hint at what's coming next?
I would assume so, because it feels like we've had kind of a wrap up on, well, not a wrap up. I feel like Zalatath's story for now is kind of complete. She's zooming away.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to see her again, honestly, until
I don't think we are
11.2.
No, exactly. So I don't think we're going to see her in the raid, and I think we might be getting, I don't know. So it's going to be something else. What that is,
I guess. I mean, that's the question, right? Like, do you think it will be something substantial, as in, we beat Ansarek, and then she's like, well, you might have got rid of me, but this thing is happening, and that kind of sets up the next patch? Or do you think it will just be like, you have defeated me, the Nerubians are free, and we'll come back and see you for 11.1 that we haven't even like announced yet, and we'll let you know nearer the time, sort of thing?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
those are the two sort of options.
Exactly. Right? I don't know. What are you leaning towards? One of those options?
I mean, I'm thinking probably the sort of she dies and everyone's happy, and there's not really any clue as to what next patch is going to be. I think it's going to be a very short cinematic. They'll have one because then they know everyone will be angry if we don't have one, and but it will be very much like, I could have made us great again. And everyone's like, wow. And you know, literally it will just be like, yay, cool. That's nice. Maybe it won't even be a full cinematic. Maybe it would be an in-game cutscene. Who knows? Do we know anything about the Ansarek fight right now? So
I'm curious about how it works, because we know what Queen Ansarek is looking like right now.
Yeah.
Right? She is... actually, I love that. I recently came across that bit where you kind of talk to the Weaver and like her advisors, right? And they kind of come to her when she's in her like horrific, you know, form after she's been defeated, and she's just hanging out in the tower, and they're like, we'll take care of you. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I love that.
It's really good, isn't it?
It's so cool. And you were saying this last week as well. I love how much they love Neferes. I love how much they love their queen.
They do. They just love her.
Loyalty. And this is why I remember talking about when the Ansarek 2.5D animated feature came out, was, you know, I'm suspicious of it because it's clearly told by Ansarek, and the way she describes the kingdom going to ruin and stuff like that. And I think that's just a really nice, subtle, unreliable narrator, because actually when you get into Ashkahet, everybody loves Neferes. Like, there's no kind of sense of, she led us down the pan, man. Like, we're on rough times and stuff like that. Everyone was like, she was awesome. Like, I'm gutted she's gone, sort of thing. She's great. And the loyalty that they will show to her is outstanding and brilliant. And yeah, there's a real sense of just this once everyone lives, but at every point in this story so far, which is really, really nice. And that was the same with Nephris as well. Like I feel like
Ansrek.
no, with Nephris, you kind of like you'd find the big hulking monster that she's become, and be like, well, it's very sad, but we're gonna have to take her out in this little scenario. But actually the scenario was about rescuing her and then like getting her back to, and likewise with the spy that we were with who got taken over by Xalatath.
Oh, she was so cool.
Yeah, in most expansions it would be like, oh no, she's mind controlled by Xalatath, and Xalatath can put herself in the mind of all of the Ascended. Well, it's very sad, but we are going to have to kill her now. But no, like Linium Voss just picks her up and we take her back to the lair and stuff like that. And I love that. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I find it really satisfying.
Yeah, it's really good. So so I don't know. I mean, we are going to get story mode for the raid, which is coming out not this week, but next week. So
good point. And that's just the final boss, right?
It's just for the final boss, as far as I understand it. And that's a mode where you can basically, it's easy mode. You play through and you just get it for the story. Basically like doing a follower dungeon and just getting all of that.
But it is with
narrative.
Other people, right? You queue for it and it's with other people, or do you just go in and
I think it's just solo.
Oh, really?
I think
You
it's just a
one-shot
solo
boss?
thing.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. And that, you mentioned this last week because I was all like, I don't think there's going to be anything important at the end of the raid. I don't think it's going to be anything good. I think it's going to be literally she dies and we all go, yay. But she'll probably say something like, you will be flattened and crushed by what is coming. Like something like that. But then you mentioned that, actually they have story mode launching next week for the first time. And actually maybe therefore the ending of this raid will be a little bit more substantial.
Yeah.
Chat confirming that, yes, sorry, story mode is solo, but you can go in with people if you want.
Nice.
So you can go in with your buddies, which I think is really good. And I'm 1,000,000% into that. I think that's fantastic. I think that's great, especially if it allows you to have more satisfying raid endings, honestly.
Absolutely. Because, it always felt weird in kind of previous raids where, if I didn't get around to doing them or I just had to like wait for LFR or, it just always felt silly because and anticlimactic for me, or for someone who didn't actually kind of put raiding at the center of their WoW plans and activities. So, I'm really glad that story mode is here and we'll see how people react to it and see how it kind of starts delivering the story a little bit differently.
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Here are the options of what can happen tonight in just hours' time.
Okay.
1.
Okay.
There's literally no cinematic.
Nothing. Nothing happens.
And the crowd goes wild and everyone's really, really happy about that.
Right.
2. It's like an in-game cutscene where your character's there, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I believe the boss fight is like on many different levels. It's kind of like how Black Hand you went down through the floors.
Sure.
I think this is kind of like you're going up and up and up.
Okay.
It looks like with kind of different like platforms and stuff like that.
Ascending.
So, exactly. We are ascending quite. So maybe like we get to the roof or something, and maybe there's like a big purpley sky, and because there is that big purple bit over the palace, isn't there?
There is.
But so like one step up from no cinematic at all is an in-game cutscene where she just dies and we all go yay. Like one step up from that is a cinematic, a pre-rendered cinematic where she just dies and she goes, my masters will destroy you. You are not prepared for what is to come. Like that. So like she just dies, basically. There's no like big reveal, but there is at least a tantalizing kind of line that you can work off and do some speculation on and make at least one video out of, right? Definitely. Next step up from that is that she like something is revealed in the kind of the roof of the cavern, right? So that big purple thing, if you try to fly towards, by the way, you die. Maybe something's revealed there, and it's something to do with the Black Blood, and because Black Blood, major story beats in the zone. So maybe, okay, best case scenario,
Okay.
is like there's something big that happens, something that sets up the action to kind of come, which means she's like, ha ha ha, I drew you up here to the top of my palace, and now, even though you have defeated me, you shall witness the rebirth of Gumblob, the
Yes.
fifth old god, and something like that. and then
Gumblob.
it's like, brrr, and like the whole purple thing opens up and it's a huge maw, and we're all like, oh no. And then the Haranir come along and they're like, we haven't really been in the story so far, but we're here now. And like, or when does like some funny dancing like she does in the trailer and does some magic, and the old god is like, curses, well, this changes nothing, I'll be back in 11.1, bye. And like it sucks itself
in the
off.
hole.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or like, you know, the huge chasm in the middle of Ashgahet, which I really like. Have you seen it? You know the huge hole in the middle of Ashgahet. So you're flying along, right? As you're going towards the city, there is a huge, like at the lowest point, there's a huge hole, and it goes down and down, and it's like opened, and it's got this weird like orangey light down there.
I haven't really
it's got
looked.
like loads of platforms and stuff down there, and you're like, wow, I really want to fly down there, but you can't. You die if you try.
No
but
way.
It's there and it's open, so maybe it's like an old god starts coming out of there or something. Like, she's like, ha, I dragged you all up here to the top of the palace, so you can't stop all my army down there feeding the black blood to Blob. And they've got like,
excuse me, it's Goblob.
Goblob. They've got buckets of, Goblob is his final form. It's Blob.
Blob.
Yeah, but like once he's achieved his final form, then he's Goblob.
Isn't that a Hanson song? Blob.
What was that? They're odes to periods. But like, and then they'll pour the black blood down the huge crack in the middle of Ashgahet, and it's like, feed me.
Okay.
But then the Haranir come along, and they're like, hey, we were down here the whole time.
Here's
I'm
our
sorry we didn't do
magic.
any quests with you, but we've been busy. And they're like, zap, 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 and they say that should hold him for now, but we're gonna have to do something pretty big with the goblins to actually sort this out for good.
Right.
I mean, I say best case scenario. I haven't described it very well there, right? But can you see what I'm saying? In my hierarchy of raid endings, that's kind of like, the top, as in a new danger is revealed.
Yeah.
As in, like, there was a plan we weren't aware of, and, the plan has moved on a step, and there's something new that we are aware of, sort of thing. And that's like always my best case scenario for a raid ending.
I think that makes sense to me. I feel like, well, having heard that, it would be a little bit underwhelming to have she's dead, yay, and that's the end of the story. I don't know if it's going to go quite full on pulling. The word.
Evie's broken.
I've broken.
She's done it. She's wound down. That's it. She just hit a wall.
Pouring.
Mid-sentence. She hit a wall. She's just like,
I did. I did. I don't think
You
it's
are
gonna
not
go
prepared.
full.
What is to come?
I don't
you
think
did
it's
the
going to be
jailer there.
full.
You're like, you just turned into a little robot.
Yeah, just that is my true form. Just the sad. That is me inside. The jailer's
My
true
true
form.
form is lazy egg.
Just,
My true form is like,
Gudetama, 100%. Yeah, just grumpy, lazy egg with a nice little bum.
my true form is the kids are in bed. I'm just lying on the sofa with whatever is in the fridge, like on my belly. Like there's like, don't talk to me. And you're like, I'm going up. It's 11:30 at night, and I'm like, I'm just gonna stay up for one more minute.
Yeah.
Rings of Power was underwhelming.
Hey, that last episode was
I need to
good.
watch some Columbo. So I'm just really into Columbo right now.
Yeah, I know.
I sneakily bought season 1 on Amazon Prime when I was downstairs when I thought Evie was in bed.
I was in bed.
And I bought it.
Reading my phone.
I bought it on my phone to watch on the TV, and I literally heard upstairs a ding on Evie's phone as I pressed purchase, and just like a laugh. I literally bought it, and I heard this ding. Fucking hell!
Yeah. Did you just buy season 1 of Columbo, or have we been hacked?
Do you know? I know you know, but I bet chat doesn't know. Do you know who directed the first episode of Columbo? You've probably never heard of them. Steven Spielberg directed the first episode of Columbo. This is kind of hard, like the high quality drama that we're
will
talking
not
here,
stop
right?
talking about
Yeah,
Columbo. I think it
love
might be
this.
time for
So
a
good.
Columbo like side podcast where it's just Tally talking to himself about Columbo.
We are working on. We're gonna resurrect Taliesin Never Tell Talk, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
we're
in a
gonna-
new form.
We're going to resurrect it with a big video where we rate every single Ghibli movie.
That's the
And
plan.
we rank every single Ghibli movie. And, that's going to be the theme of that channel then.
Just
And it's going to be scripted and it's going to be just a
ranking
big video
shit.
that we make in our own time and whatever.
Yeah.
And I think a ranking every episode of Columbo thing would be something I'm completely on board with.
Yeah.
I would love that. That can be episode 2 on the new channel. The old channel. The
yeah.
channel. The neglected channel.
That one.
yeah.
That one.
It's technically our second channel.
It is technically.
But
It is.
it's not called our second channel. That's our third channel is called our second channel. We just like to mess with your heads. What were we saying? Oh yeah. So I don't know. So out of all of those options, Evie, for the raid ending, which one do you think is going to happen?
I think some middle ground is going to happen. I think we are.
That sounds like fence sitting. Evie.
Yeah, I
that
love the
sounds like
fence.
playing your cards safe.
Columblob. Sorry, I'm just. No, so
Columblob. Oh god, Columblob would be amazing. Columblob would definitely have a mythic only phase because you'd like get him down to like 2% health and then he'd be like, just one last thing.
yeah. Yeah, so I think it's gonna be like we'll get some story progression. Like something will happen, something will be like, but this has been happening all along, or blah, or here is my true master. Well, that's Zalatath, isn't it? Or that we will have some story, but I don't think it's gonna go quite as far as Gablob showing his face.
Yeah. Do you think the Haranir will make an appearance?
I think they have to, seeing how heavily they were featured in promoting this expansion and how technically I think you, in order to actually finish the main story quest, I think you maybe had to meet them once.
Yeah, there's a bit where you go to their like little
But that's it.
house and
It takes
stuff,
2
and-
minutes.
Well, you tell me because you've done all the side quests.
I have done all the side quests.
Is there any more Haranir to be seen?
There is more Haranir, but it's like, and actually, so here's the one thing about like the kind of pacing. I really enjoyed doing. So I got my Loremaster of Khazalgar, which felt really good, and obviously did Isle of Dorn first. Did them in order, basically. Ringing Deep's next.
Are you going into a full-on talk about your Loremaster? Because that is supposed to be like after we've discussed all the season 1 stuff, just to say.
No, but I will.
I'm trying to keep to some
I
kind
will
of structure.
circle
here,
back
sorry,
to
yeah.
this topic. But in short, doing the Haranir quests, I kind of wish I'd done them before I did the main storyline of Ashkahet, because I kind of got, and I'll talk about this more later, I feel like they added some extra flavor and some time spent with the peoples of Ashkahet, which I kind of wish I would have had before I did, or while I was doing the main story. But yes, there is more with them. There is plenty more with them. You follow Orwena around and her friend, whose name I forget, but he is very concerned about her.
Oh, I have done that one actually.
Yeah, and that just that's essentially it.
Right.
So
Interesting.
I would guess, that we will see more of the Haranir, if not in the next patch, then the one after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay, yeah, it makes sense. I personally, as to the raid ending, I'm not sure. I don't love raid endings that finish on cliffhangers, but I do love raid endings that kind of like show you kind of what's coming. Like the obvious one that I always hark back to because it was perfect in every way was Tomb of Sargeras. You killed Kil'jaeden. You got that cinematic, which was a really lovely moment between Velen and Kil'jaeden, like genuinely good. And the ship's exploding. We get teleported off, and we're back on Azeroth. We're back in Azuna. And we turn around and Argus is in the sky. And Khadgar's like, what have you done? Like technically a cliffhanger ending, but very much more just like, it's less a cliffhanger, more kind of a sizzle for like an intro, like an advert for the next patch sort of thing. Not like a what is going to happen.
No,
more
but
kind of
a
this
tease.
is going to happen.
We're going there. That thing there, that's where we're going.
I guess that's how I would differentiate it. Yeah, I don't like raids that finish what is going to happen. I like raids that finish this is going to happen, right? Which is very much what Tomb of Sargeras did. Which
Like if a big hole opens up in the ground and we're going there next, I'll be like, awesome,
Yeah,
cool,
totally,
yeah, that's what I
totally.
want. Yeah, I want a destination.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I really like, and that's why I even kind of liked that element of the Sylvanas raid cinematic as well, because the jailer went through a big old portal, and I wish we could have seen what was through the portal, but it's like, well, I guess we're following him to wherever that portal goes, right? And so it's something, it was something. However, I, for the record, don't think we'll get that. I think it's going to be a very low-key raid ending, personally. I think it's going to be very like, you have saved the Nerubians, but there's still some hangers-on, there's still some loyalists.
Go do some world quests.
Still got to get that renown up, okay? Still very important.
Very important to get your renown up.
Yeah,
essential.
and I don't think we'll... Yeah, so my hopes aren't high, and I always try and temper expectations, but especially because we've already had a cinematic that was very much rounding off the story, I think, of the leveling campaign.
Yes,
that Dalatath and Naleria one was so kind of...
You're right.
This is the end of the story for now. And I think, I'd be surprised if we get something else like anywhere near that, to be honest. So be interested to hear what chat think about that and what they think we're aiming for.
Yes.
But of course, it's not all just cinematics, is it, Evie? There's loads of stuff, because season 1 is started. Like, you're not going to even see the cinematic if you don't gear up your character and be ready for raid and do all your... here's what I'm going to do, Evie. As
Okay,
soon
what's
as
your
season
plan?
1 goes, I'm
Season 1 plan, let's hear it.
Mythic Plus all the way. I'm bopping it. I'm bopping Mythic Plus to get all my gear. I'm such a Chad. And I'm going to... What are the... I noticed you were looking at tier rankings earlier.
I would never look at tier rankings. I would never base my gameplay on tier
You were on
rankings.
Wowhead and you were looking at tier rankings.
Yeah, I was looking at tier
What's going
rankings.
on with that? Like, how is... I'm going to put your screen on for the people watching at home, right?
Now, mind you, Mythic Plus doesn't start until next week. We've got Mythic this week.
Right, yeah.
Mythic Plus kicks off next week. But in the meantime, Wowhead have published their tier rankings for the War Within.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
I've
very
lost the
thrilling.
thing, hang on.
Oh, Tally's lost the thing. But so we
there it is.
as usual, we've got our raid and also Mythic Plus rankings, which is...
Well,
which
don't
is
keep me in suspense, Evie. What's going on?
right. No one is S tier.
No one is...
No one is S tier.
Okay, so we're just saying like Mythic Plus is a no-go this season. We're just like, don't bother. No one can do it. No one is S tier. That's rough. That's
Really,
hard.
what jumps out at me here is the fact that Beast Mastery is a D tier.
D tier. It's always been D tier.
Oh my
I'm
God.
Fire Mage as well.
Hey,
No, I've
I
been
know.
enjoying my Fire
I know. Look,
Mage.
so I know people. Some
Who
people
has
follow
done
these
that?
religiously.
Who's done this? Like some Arcane Mage player. Has
Well,
made this tier
the
ranking,
takeaway in this is
clearly.
that Arcane Mage is absolutely bopping it, which is great because that's my next plan. Now that I've done Loremaster and I feel comfortable to move on to an alt, that feels good because
yeah.
my whole screen isn't going to be littered with quests and question marks. Like I can literally
it
just
will
pop
be. You
through.
just have to sort of filter them out a little bit, really.
Yeah, but you can turn off the ones that your warbender's already completed. So don't pick on BM. I know I am a BM player, so it's it absolutely kills me to see this. But you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna keep on playing BM and then also maybe Arcane Mage. And then also the DPS rankings for the raid.
Arcane is S tier for that
Arcane and Og are S tier for that.
Hey, good to see Enhancement up there, though.
Yeah, not bad, right?
Enhancement absolutely bopping it. That's always good to see. Frost Death Knight as well.
Mm-hmm.
Unexpected. Well, not that unexpected, actually, but unusual, I would say, probably. Where's Shadow Priest in all of this? What are they doing?
Just comfortably nestled in B.
Yeah, okay.
Just right there in B, and that's for raid, of course. And you want to do your heals and
Oh, good to see Discipline Priest in the C tier for healing as well.
Yeah, right next
great.
to Holy. Just the priests
Just,
are
so priests have priests just get out of town.
absolutely useless.
Priests like just useless. And what about Mythic Plus?
Exactly. So Mythic Plus healers, you've got.
Disc bottom of the pile again. Wow, this is
Although-
great. I love being a
Hey,
Discipline
listen.
Priest.
It's bottom of the pile, but it's B. And someone in chat said something that you kind of want like most classes to be an A and B tier, right? You don't want ones to be like outrageously good. You want them to be like good.
I completely disagree. I want Discipline Priest to be in the S tier every single time.
All right.
Otherwise, I don't get invited to groups. It's the only way I can get invited to groups.
It's true.
I love to pug that shit. It's awesome. No, I don't
know
care.
you do.
Whatever, man. When
It's
I
fun to see these
just
pop
by
up, but,
me
you know.
playing it, I raise it a couple of tier levels, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
of course.
it's definite. Yeah,
Of course.
But the play, Evertel, is not to do dungeons
No.
when the season launches in a minute. The play is to do delves. That's what I heard.
That's going to be my play.
Yeah?
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Can you explain that? Do you know what's going on with it?
So delves will unlock from so we can go up to 3 now, and so they'll unlock from 4 and up from season 1 today. As it happens. Hold on, I've got a little season 1 preview here.
I believe like the highest level of gear is like level 8 or something. Someone was saying, or no, level 8 is just quite doable.
Level 8 is the level you want to get it's where your gear basically maxes out.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. So that's where you know, for the hardcore delvers, and for filling up the Great Vault, which of course delves will contribute to the Great Vault. The PvP bar is gone. The eternally empty bar on the Great Vault.
But unfortunately, PvP
is
does still
gone.
exist. Like I looked on the Great Vault, and I was like, they did it. The Mad Lads did it. PvP is gone. There's no more PvP.
Yeah.
The internet's going to be a much nicer place. But no, they're just doing their own thing, which
No,
I think
I
is
love-
brilliant.
I love
But
that
I'm
PvP
joking.
is getting-
I
You know.
treasured the time in BFA when I was doing PvP, and I got my
it
hippo. I
earned you
loved
your
it.
hippo.
Great fun. It was fantastic.
Exactly. So you get delves unlocked from level 4 and up, which should be fun. I imagine, because I haven't tested them, I imagine they're going to get quite hard, actually, quite towards the upper limit.
Am I right in thinking like the secret delve with the big boss?
Yes.
Is that open as well? Can
That
people
is
do that?
that is opening as well. So that is the new seasonal delve. What is it? Zekvir? Is that his name?
He's been around. He's been around the place. Well, I think it's one of those things like with Torghast, basically. Solo, I think it might get quite hard, but I think if you go in a group, I think you're in with some of your buddies who are pretty good at the game and stuff. I think you could probably bop a lot higher than you think you might be able to.
Sure.
I think it's just one of those things where going in with a group is such.
Can you
an
do delves as a
advantage.
group?
Yeah, I'm certain you can.
Oh.
Oh, am I wrong?
In my
You can do
mind,
that. In my head, you've always been able to do delves as a group. We could go and do delves right now, you and me.
delves are like hardcore solo content.
Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Have I misunderstood this major feature of the expansion for this game that is like the thing I make my living out of? It wouldn't be the first time, honestly, because this is a good point.
You can bring people in.
This is not even just a joke, right?
You
Oh,
can.
I am right though. Just
Okay.
for the record,
Up to
I am
5.
right. Just
Okay.
to, you set your mind
Okay,
at ease.
sorry,
But
my bad.
I was doubting myself for a second there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to plant the seed.
No, I plant the seeds around here, and it's worth noting that I am amazingly unprepared for this season starting, and I don't dislike it. It's I feel incredibly helpless and incredibly behind and incredibly useless right now, but I actually kind of like that feeling. It feels quite nice, because people were like, what prep have you done for raid, Tally? Have you read all the boss guides and have you installed voodoo,
Yeah,
etc.?
of course
I was
you
like,
have.
look, I do loads of prep for raid, okay? And by that, I mean, I try and get the best gear possible. I work really hard because that's when the world content and the open world content and all of the other content is at its most fun for me, when there's a real reason to be doing it. Because any kind of upgrade in gear that you get has a really kind of a solid impact on your actual raid progress. I like getting gear anytime, but when you're still progressing in the raid, it feels important to be getting gear, and you're like, everything I do, every bit of gear I get is going to help me progress this raid.
Definitely.
And that feels awesome. That feels like that's the best feeling in WoW for me. I really, really love it. You feel like you're doing something really cool. And like later on for Mythic Plus, getting my rating and stuff, Mythic Plus has kind of sort of taken up that latter stage of the season, which I really like as well. Maybe not with disc this season, but we'll see. It's still really fun. Who cares?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So I will work really hard, and that's the prep I do. My prep is I work really hard to get my character ready. I will always,
Good.
I've got everything you need to. I get all the best gear I possibly can. What I don't do for prep is read any boss guides at all.
That's terrible,
Dude,
Tally.
we go in with our raid team, right? And we go in on normal difficulty. Okay,
And you
basically, as long as
smash
the
it.
tanks know when
Yeah.
to tank swap,
Yeah, you guys
like
are
you're
fine.
smashing that shit. There's no two ways about it. You're destroying it. You don't, and that's a really good way of learning the fight. And you know, I feel like there's so little unknown, especially for like us, because we have to play alpha and beta and stuff like that to get footage that we need and to know what we're talking about and stuff like that. And I feel very privileged to be able to do that. But it does mean that there's just not many surprises a lot of the time. And raid boss is one of the few surprises I get. It's one of the few times I get to go in and be like, look, I get 2 pulls where I don't know what's going on. And then I do know what's going on, right? So let me enjoy those 2 pulls.
The guild is very generous with that. The raid team is like pretty generous, I think.
So we're gonna destroy it anyway, right? So, but let me have those 2 pulls where it's all new to me and it's all exciting, and I love that. So I don't do pineapple or anything like that.
Oh, come
I
on,
come
those are
up and I'm
great.
geared up as much as I can be, and you know I'm dedicated. I'm always there, and I'm. Apart from I won't be in week 2 because we got, but we got 3 guildies coming to us on raid
3
night,
raiders
on their motorbike trip, including our tank. So I'm like, I'm not sure raid's going to be happening that night, which is going to put us a massive disadvantage for the Race to World first heroic for raids for guilds with a name like a bit like Immortalis, which I'm really looking forward to. By the way,
I know.
First raid of an expansion, the Race to World first heroic for guilds with a name a bit like Immortalis. Doesn't get any more exciting than that because you're like everything's up for grabs. You know what are the team's looking like? So exciting.
I haven't even looked who the contenders are this year. Because I know the Immortalis flavor guilds some like kind of phase in and out of use of popularity. Some of them literally just form to crush the other Immortalis guilds and then they disappear.
Every now and then there's just some mythic guild who's like, should we just call ourselves Immortalis this season and win the race and then
Deus Ex Immortalis.
Liquid Immortalis. Because they've never it's the trophy, it's the one trophy they've never won, right? They've never won it.
Yeah.
It's like just change your name, you can win it, it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the prep I do, and that's the enjoyment that I like is just having 1 or 2 pulls per boss where I don't know what's going on. That's super exciting to me, and I love raid. I love chatting with my buddies. I love having a real purpose to the game.
Yeah,
you know? And it feels fantastic. So I'm very much looking forward to that. You've got a big list of kind of other season 1 features on there. What else have we got?
I do, yeah. So you've got your normal and heroic raid, but also Wing 1 of LFR opens up in season 1, which is cool. Get started with that. Dungeons are just on Mythic. Mythic Plus opens next week. Delves we already talked about. Wow. And
okay, do you need to get some drugs?
yeah,
Like
please.
something really, really strong.
Please. I'm on like the tail end of my cold, and it's just kind of like delirium at this stage. I feel like physically okay, but mentally it's all somewhere else. And then, of course, you have PvP. So there's a new arena, new battleground season, and the rated battleground solo queue, which I know PvPers are super excited about.
Yeah.
I would know because I'm not a PvPer.
So
But
are you going to be bopping the delves for all the hot gear?
I am. I'm actually really excited about the delves. I really want to jump in on like just a casual raid when I can, but I know time constraints are difficult because I guess our guilds tends to do them literally right as we are putting the children to sleep. So if I miss the first hour, that means I miss the whole raid. Yeah. So I really love knowing that delves are there, where I can like kind of push something that is probably going to be quite challenging at some stage, but I can do it on my own time. I can rope Tally into it if I want to.
And that's the thing. If you've got like a Holy Trinity in there,
Exactly.
like a tank healer and deeps, that's just, that's a whole different ball game from if you're going in solo.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
Look, I know Bran, right? Okay, he
bless
works
him.
really hard.
He does his
cares
best.
so much,
He
and I
does
don't
his
like
best.
slagging the guy off, right? But he's a liability. Let's be real. Like, dude is useless. Dude's like awful. Dude is terrible. Like he is Velen levels of shit at healing. I switched him to DPS. I didn't notice him doing any DPS. Like I didn't notice anything dying faster than it did when he was a healer.
Yeah.
Like have you picked up any of those healing files that he throws?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's nothing. I'm pretty sure it's literal water. There's nothing in there. Like, it doesn't heal me.
It's just booze.
I run over them. I'm like,
Like-
nothing has happened. I don't feel any better. And sometimes he makes like a campfire, which is quite nice.
Which is okay.
The campfire is particularly good in the underwater delve because you get a little bubble around it.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
kind of,
The bubble is good.
Yeah.
I love the rage-filled idol. I think one of the combat whatchamacallit, and it's the one where he just like takes damage constantly.
Oh yeah.
And
It's like, oh, cheers, mate.
It happens anyway.
Yeah.
And I remember I had him use that one when I first started running it, and he just kept dying, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot hear him being like, oh, it's the end. Buddy, they're just like 3 mobs. Relax. I have my pets. Everything's okay.
I get the feeling that if I go in as I like that if if I'm in there as Shadow, I can fade and the enemies will run towards him.
Yeah.
You know, I can drop any aggro and he works as my tank in that respect. Because he doesn't take much damage, in fairness to the boy. If he had a tanking like spec, that would be great.
Yeah.
I know he's got his little dinosaurs and his animals and stuff like that. Evie's mic has gone fuzzy again. Oh, what's
Not again. Not again.
Okay, 5-second break
Okay.
while I fix this.
5-second break while I. Bad Mike. Naughty Mike.
That usually fixes it, so
Right.
I'll give myself another edit on this.
Oh, sorry, babes. Okay. What do we think?
Let's,
chat? How's the mic? How's the mic feeling now? I didn't open Discord. I did nothing. All good now. Okay.
Yeah. See, whatever takes
Sometimes
a
it just
turn
needs
off
a
and
little
on, and
off
it is
and
annoying. But thank you for letting us know. I appreciate.
Yeah, thanks,
that.
chat, for keeping us updated.
Sorry, what were you talking about when your mic went bad? Your mic did not want to know. Your mic was like, ah.
Yeah, I can't even remember because I said Mike so many times. I felt like I was talking to a person called Mike, and I was like, bad Mike, bad Mike.
I appreciate that.
But no, we were talking about Bran and his uselessness. And,
he is useless as well.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Sometimes he does
He's
some
sweet,
mining,
but
and I can't
useless.
mine on my main.
and I like when he hatches the dinosaurs that come fight for you. Those are fun.
Yeah, the dinosaurs are quite
Those
fun.
Those
I
are
guess.
cute.
I know. I'm hoping whoever is following us around next, please let it be Faerun. Please let Faerun be our delve companion.
That's right. We
it's
are
gonna
going
be
to get
some
new
goblin though,
companion.
isn't it?
Exactly. It's going to be like a little friend.
Yeah,
It's
gonna
not going to be a
new
big
dude.
beautiful hero. It's just going to be a little friend.
I wouldn't mind if it's Gazlo. I'd be up with Gazlo.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind him. He's pretty cool.
Fine,
He'd be
yeah.
like, I found some loot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I'm a bit suspicious of Bram because like we get every time I go into a delve with Bram, we defeat this boss at the end, and he helps. He really helps. He's so good.
He's so
and
good.
He's like, oh, this way, champion. There's some treasure for you. And we go to a room that is full of treasure. I mean, there's gold, there's goblets, there's like chests, there's gold like dripping from the ceilings, and there's just gold as far as the eye can see, like more gold than you've ever seen in your life. And Bran's like, here's your chest. It's got some gloves in it. I'm like, Bran,
Oh, thanks.
what's happening with all this gold? He's like,
Bran?
no time to chat.
Nope.
Get on the helicopter thing, go back to the entrance. I'll deal with the rest of it. Wow, enjoy your loot, enjoy your treasure. I'm like, Bram, what about all this? What's going to happen to all this gold? And he's like, gold? I didn't know yet. Get on quick. You're going to miss the flight. You're going to miss the helicopter. Get on there, champion. Get on there. Here's a healing vial.
I love when he's like, oh, I found some gold, and it's like 2 gold. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Well, that's your share of the gold. I
wow.
found some
Yeah,
gold. It's
exactly.
like, really? Two again?
exactly. So yeah. Oh, so someone mentioned Flynn in the chat.
Flynn would be fun,
I could
yeah.
run around with Flynn, have a little buddy rom-com with Finn, Flynn running through delves. So yeah, I am actually just really excited to bop some delves.
You are,
tomorrow.
are you? 'Cause
Yeah.
I've noticed people
I am excited.
Predictably, people are quite split on delves. A lot of people find them just a little bit boring.
Well, that's fair. But for me, it's just a nice gameplay loop where I'll be able to sit down, and what'll be fun the first time round is like going through and being like, okay, what level can I get these delves to where it still feels comfortable before I have to start like gearing up or getting good, right?
Yeah.
So
Like the
there's going to
ceiling.
be, so finding the ceiling, then being like, oh, gotta gear up some more from other stuff. Thankfully, I filled up 3 great vault slots.
did you?
No, but I mean, like, speaking as if, thankfully,
I
I
see.
will
Yeah,
have
okay.
filled up my vault slots from doing delves, so that'll be really helpful. And then,
that would be
see
fun,
how that
actually.
goes.
Yeah, I get it. It's going to be nice to have like 9 great vault slots filled up. every week because I usually it's 6 for me on a good week.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
it's always been 6 max, maybe 7 once when I would do like one of the,
Yeah.
PvP like world quests or something, or like just some PvP. But yeah, so I'm really excited to have more options for more good stuff and more gearing up.
As people correctly pointing out in the chat, delves haven't really begun yet. We've had like
Exactly.
the leveling version of delves.
Exactly.
I don't think I've done all the delves. It's always confusing for me with content like delves and Torghast and things like that, and even side quests, because I've done lots on the alpha and I forget what I've done on the alpha and what I've done live. So I can't actually remember which delves I've done live and which I've only done on alpha. And it's just like that confusing thing. So I've got little gaps in my checklist right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I am looking forward to it. I am looking forward to finding where that ceiling is, and then basically taking in some better players than me and breaking that
It's
feeling
like,
and doing better. Yeah.
exactly. And then grouping up and then
Yeah.
knocking it out of the park, and then finally using my little coffer keys.
How many coffer keys have you got?
I've got a few. I don't have like the optimal maximum
think
of
I've
what
got
was it, like
7.
15 or something? You're supposed to
Yeah.
have. I think I have maybe like 5. But I think that's a good start. I will get
Yeah.
more from other stuff.
Yeah, and I've heard that level 8 is kind of the play. That's the one you want to be aiming for.
Yeah.
Which is only 5 levels higher than we're doing right now. So
Exactly.
yeah, I don't know. And if we're getting like better gear in the season, like doing some Mythic Zero, I am looking forward to doing Mythic Zero dungeons as well.
Yeah.
Next week, I think that'd be really fun. Especially because like the gear is immediate from that stuff as well, and I like that. And Mythic Zero has a weekly lockout as well. I'm sure, and I like weekly lockouts. I like doing my dungeons per week and
Getting that done.
spam them every day. Yeah, exactly. So I'm into that, and I'm hoping it's going to be quite hard. Yeah, Dawnbreaker will be, but the rest of it. I'm just really looking forward to it. I can't wait to see delves as they're supposed to be running.
Yeah.
And doing that, and then story mode next week with mythic difficulty, and that's when it really gets real, right?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And of course, the Race to World First
Yeah.
kicking off.
Yeah.
Not as exciting as the Race to World First for Guilds with a name a bit like Immortalis.
No, and it's like a lot of the first couple of days these days. Oh, Mythic Plus. I'm sorry, I stand corrected again. Mythic Zero is daily now.
There you go, Tally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dawnbreaker every day. Get
Yeah.
up at the crack of Dawnbreaker.
Break the dawn.
Yeah.
With the Dawnbreaker.
No, I'll happily do Dawnbreaker every day. I love that shit. Arakara, not so much, but Dawnbreaker, load me up. I love that stuff.
Sure.
Very, very cool.
Sure.
So yeah, count me in. Awesome. Think of all that sweet gear. Oh, I can't wait to just do the first boss of Arakara 100 times
1
and
million
like the
times.
tank leave after the first boss
Yeah,
every
love
single
it.
time, so I get to queue up for it again.
Yeah, love it.
Cannot wait. Brilliant. Fantastic. The Race to World First, it takes a while to get going these days with all the splits and things like that. So we'll see how that goes. But I love coming back to it a little bit later on in the week.
Yes.
And sort of seeing what's going. I don't think it's going to be a very long race. It's only it's quite a short raid. It's one of those ones where people will get to the final boss in like a day, 2 days, I think, and maybe 3, and then the entire race basically is just going to be sort of progressing the final boss. I think we'll see, but I'm really looking forward to watching that untested boss.
Me too.
People think your mic has died, but I think it's just because you haven't spoken
Yet
for about
again,
5 minutes.
I was just listening to your dulcet tones, Tally. And don't forget the Catalyst, of course, awakens. So you can start getting that 2-set
Yeah.
pretty much off the bat, right?
And you can sort of craft yourself a nice piece of gear with your sparks.
Yes.
You should have like 1.5 sparks right now.
You should, and you'll get another one. So you should have 2.
So I can craft my my staff, which I'm all about.
Oh, love
Yeah,
crafting.
I did that last expansion and I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved crafting a staff and having that staff with me for the entire expansion and like upgrading it every season and just feeling really good about that. It felt awesome. It was really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like my own little artifact weapon. It was really cool. And it says like made by Mivamwi.
Yeah.
on it, which is just fantastic. I love
Do you
that
remember
shit.
when you just used to make make bags for everyone, and so like everyone would have a Mivanwi bag.
Yeah,
it was
I
like
used
the
to-
it bag.
When I was trying to get my my Brutosaur mount, I used to go into Stormwind and be like, sign Taliesin bag, everyone. And I'd make it on my character called Taliesin as well. It's like, you know, I'd auction that shit off. It was good. It
Yeah.
helped me get my 5 mil, man.
There you
It
go.
was awesome.
I remember.
The thing that really helped me get my 5 mil was making crafted gear for 8.2. And I did my research. I had all the mats ready to go, and I just crafted kind of like low-level PvP gear at the very beginning of 8.2, and I made like 2 million out of that. It
Nice.
was really, really good. I had spreadsheets on the go. I knew exactly how much I needed to spend and like what I needed to craft and how long it was going to take. And, you know, it felt awesome. Felt really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, but I am well behind on my crafting and professions and stuff like that. I'm behind on literally everything.
Oh, crafting I
including-
haven't touched at all.
Yeah, including story and side quests and things like that. So obviously, I did kind of blow through the main campaign quests, but there are very few side quests that I've kind of done. I've done a handful now in Dornegal. I did. Here's what I did yesterday when I maybe should have been doing some other work, but it is work, right? Playing WoW.
Yeah, you played Space Marine, right?
Yeah, I did play a bit of Space Marine. Yeah. No, Space Marine is my like 1 a.m. game.
Yeah, that's your,
my
like,
the
fall
work
asleep
day
at
is
the
over.
PC
I can
game.
play video games game
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now. Yeah, I can't excuse that one for work, so I can't play it during the day. That's my 1 a.m. game when all the best players are online, and we just
Truly.
breeze through that content.
Truly.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, no, I have I did a quest where and they're all really good, by the way, but I did a quest where they were like, oh, there's no storms over the mountain. There needs to be storms over the mountain, and it's because like the big rams aren't there having a fight like they're supposed to every year, because one of them had been caught by the Nerubians. You had to
Such
go
a
and
good
like
one.
let him out, and then it was really cool just seeing like earthen folklore basically, which was really cool.
Yeah, I
and
loved
seeing like these characters and their folklore and creating the storm, and I thought that was really, really cool. There was one where I had to wake up a big mountain giant, which I really enjoyed. I thought that one was really cool.
Classic.
And I've done one of the max level ones. I did the one where the lamplighter and the earthen dude are running around and they're friends now. I like that one.
It's a good one.
And I did the unlock quests for the allied race as well, for the earthen. So I did like the famous sort of Alzheimer's one that everyone is into and that really likes. So I did that one, and the earthen starting quest as well, which I thought were really good. But that's child's play. That's basically nothing compared to you. So we talked about the campaign story last week, and now I'd like to hand over to you to talk us through the Loremaster, which you now have.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I finished it up yesterday, and it felt really good. I did it. Yeah, mentioned before, I did it kind of sequentially through each zone. There are a couple of ones where only like popped after you finished the main campaign. I think there was one in Hallowfall where like you have to finish the whole War Within campaign, then you can come back and do a quest at like the farmstead. That comes up. Yeah.
Oh, really? So, like,
Yeah.
literally, there's one that unlocks when you essentially have Loremaster, when you've done literally everything else.
No,
or-
I mean, as in the main War Within campaign.
right, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
so like the main story campaign, and then you have to go back and do it then. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I finished up Hallowfall faster than I thought I would. There were loads of quests in there that like, yeah, again, I just feel I contribute to kind of creating a really cool and like kind of rich like zone, because you know I you know the stories, like the main stories, I thought were pretty linear, and that is a good thing. I think like you just kind of want to bop it, you want to do the main campaign story, but then yeah, the bits on the side, like there's one, I'm not sure if you did it, but there's one where you find the last mage of Hallowfall.
Oh, I did that one on the alpha. And
Yeah,
it's brilliant. Yeah.
yeah, that's
I
a
love that
great-
guy.
that's a-
I would die for that guy.
Well,
no spoilers.
No spoilers. I loved that one. And he's like, I'm the last mage in Hallowfall. I can get us back if
And
I
he's
can
like a kid.
only learn.
He was a mage's apprentice as well. That's the thing. All the
Yeah.
actual mages died.
He's like, if I can only learn how to create a portal, I can take us back to our homeland. I can get us out of here, and I can be the one. And so you help him on his quest. And I'm just like, yo, but what if I'm just a mage? Can't I just? Never mind. But yeah, that was a lovely one. And then I did, yeah. And then the Aj Kahet quests and side quests I wrapped up yesterday as well, which weren't. Again, like I at first I saw them and I was like, this is overwhelming. But there weren't so many of them. And again, I actually wish that I'd done them before I'd finished the main story campaign, because my kind of one, quip about the whole zone was like, oh, I thought the story was really quick. Like I didn't get the sense of the city being Suramar-esque as was, kind of promised to us. Like it felt cool, but I feel like I hardly interacted with anyone. And then of course, all of these side quests are like, go here, go to the the Weavers, right? And there's this like huge, rivalry and conflict between two weavers, and you have to you end up probably killing them both just to get someone else in their place. But this whole idea of like kind of like political intrigue and factions.
Does it capture
webs
that
we weave?
a bit more? Because you kind of were a bit
100%.
disappointed with Ashgahet in that sense at first. You were like, it's no Suramar,
Yeah.
Does it get a bit closer to that?
It does get closer to that, but it's never going to be like Suramar. There's no sneaking around. There's no you just are there. But I did, I felt like it gave just like a little more flavor. There's a really cool quest line with the Puppet Master. Have you done the one with the Puppet Master?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, it's kind of wild. Can I tell you about it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So you start learning about this Puppet Master, and you have a Nerubian who's like, we need to find out what's up with this person, right? Because you start going and visiting like the Ascended. You basically go to like Ascended neighborhood, and everyone looks down their nose at you. And they have these puppets, these sculptures, of there's one of like it's basically all of like these characters like in the midst of their deaths, right? It's like, and you examine them and they're like, ooh, these exquisitely crafted image of a Nerubian just dying, and you're like, oh wow. And then the whole city is like, oh, the Puppet Master I need to have one of their works. I must have one. It takes you on this kind of like wild goose chase through the whole zone, and you see more of these like little sculptures, and then you eventually learn that the Puppet Master has one of the Nerubians. I forget their title, but has been. You realize that the puppets are actually.
No,
people. They're alive,
that
and they've
old
been
gag.
Yeah, and they've
that
been
old
kind
chestnut.
of you go into his workshop and you kind of awaken like an orc puppet, and they're like, oh man, it's like, I was only half puppeted. You've got to save the rest of the guys, and it was really creepy. I actually was like, ooh, because sometimes quests like mean to be creepy, but I'm like, okay, cool, and I just breeze by it. But I was like, oh, this is actually genuinely creepy. And then it ends. It felt kind of like, it made me think of like an episode of Doctor Who or something,
right, yeah.
because the climax is like when you kind of go, the Puppet Master is going to put on a show.
Oh, cool.
So you go into this room, and I loved actually talking to all of the Ascended Nerubians there, and they're like, oh, who are you? Who invited the dregs to the puppet show? But I can't wait to see what's going on. And you see all these like hanging figures, from the ceiling, and then you have to like fight all the puppets coming to life, and
That's really cool.
and yeah, it was great. I just kind of loved that whole quest, and I loved the storytelling. I loved the descriptions of like the puppets and the statues. Super cool. So stuff like that really, and your interactions with the Nerubian who's taking you through it, they're also very much in character. They're like, listen, oh, and you have to act as their pet the whole
Right.
time in order to pass in the city, because the Ascended are like, oh, you have a night elf for a pet. Like, oh, that's very chic. And when you're and then when you're in the Puppet Master's lair, he's like having a chat with your Nerubian, and he's like, oh, we can talk, but make your pet clean up the mess while we do that. So you're just walking around like sweeping and like listening on their conversation. He's like, oh, your pet has exquisite bone structure. He's like eyeing you up for puppeteering. I thought it was really good. And then your interactions with the Nerubian, and they're always like, listen, we're not friends, and I do think of you as less than me, but I hope you don't mind that you were a tool for me to achieve my end, and, I hope we did something nice together. And you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, fine.
That's awesome.
It's great. There's another one that, again, I recently did where it's like, oh, well, you just find a guy in a cave, and he's like, spiders.
And you're like, what are you talking about? I only see crabs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, exactly. But you can be like, oh, there's a spider. You can tell him there's a spider on him, and it's quite funny. And they are like, it is quite like a hardcore, like, cave where they're constantly coming at you. And you're like, all right, we got you, buddy. This is gonna be really, and it's quite funny. It's his fear of spiders is kind of hilarious. You're like, ho, 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 and then you're like getting out. And can I tell you what happens?
Sure. Gets eaten by a spider, right?
He dies like horrifically, and you're laughing. You're like, oh, hold on.
What happens to him?
This is terrible. He just he's killed by the spiders, and you're like, oh, he was
right to be scared.
He's so cute. You're like, I'm gonna save him. Oh, I got you, but and then you have to like bring his head back to his friends. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like our Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Carrying his head around, I was like, this feels like Baldur's Gate.
Oh my god.
And then you like bring his head to his buddies, and you're like, I'm really sorry. Like, I thought this was lots of fun, and I was doing a fun little quest. He gets mangled. Yeah, he gets mangled by a spider, and he is then laying in a pool of blood, which is really like not I don't know. It's like not typical for WoW. I think he's a mangled corpse, and then it's like. It's like a record scratch, and it's like you look at the body, he's an undead. It's like, his eyes were glazed over with fear before, but now there's just nothing in them. And I'm like, oh my God, I felt terrible. I was absolutely destroyed.
Wow. Well, you spoiled two really good quest lines for me.
Sorry.
It's
for you.
No, absolutely. And like I do remember I was sitting here just playing, and you were over there, and you went, well, as we are now, in fact, and you went, and I was like, what is it? And you went, I just did have you done the husband and wife one? And I was like, why are you surprised by that one? I did it on alpha, and it's like the second you get a spider, spiders are famous for certain things, right? Yeah. And the second you get a spider, big female spider going, my husband seems to have run away. Maybe you could go and find him for me. Yeah, exactly. And you're like, it didn't pan out exactly as I thought it was going to, but I got the gist of it instantly, and I was like chuckling to myself as I went along to find him and stuff. But that took you so by surprise.
It did take me by surprise.
Wait, you want to eat him?
So yeah, in short, like it's I've really enjoyed these quests. Like some of them have like really they've surprised me in a pleasant way, and I thought it was I'm really impressed with some of these side quests and like the world building, the storytelling. I feel like it's really stepped up a notch, and like people
over Dragonflight.
Absolutely, really? and I liked Dragonflight. Some Dragonflight quests were brilliant. They were really good, but like there's this kind of balance of like dark, like humor and like darkness. I think like some of them are actually quite dark, and you do feel the consequences of your actions sometimes, sure. Right? And I'm like, oh yes, okay. It's like I'm doing these silly little quests, but yeah. Sometimes people die. Like I quite liked how the Hallowfall quests, so many of the Arathi quests are like 1 million men and women have died today. Yeah. Like, go and pay honor, like, honor their remains and, take their tinderboxes.
I love the tinderbox thing. It's so romantic.
And then talk
the lamp lighting tinderbox thing. It's so like Victorian.
It's
and
really
kind of like,
good. And then it's like talk to everyone who has gone through battle and like make sure they're okay. And I feel like they were well done. And there is I would say in every zone there's this kind of fixation with like death, and you have your the earthen who are literally made to die. Like
I love all the Earth and Death stuff. I find it
so good,
awesome.
And
it really, really captures my heart, and it's just like, honestly, and with the Earth and Hallowfall as well. I haven't done much of Ashkahet in side quest terms, but you're right. I genuinely think the Earthen and Hallowfall do death better than Shadowlands.
Oh,
did.
100%. I was thinking about this all of the
It's
time.
an exploration,
I agree.
particularly with the Earthen, but the exploration of death and what it means and what comes after, and what the different ways that it's avoided, and like the cycles that you get into and stuff like that. It's just a better, more interesting, more meaningful, more emotional exploration of death than Shadowlands.
And all of Shadowlands. I agree completely. And it's impossible not to think of it. I was thinking the same thing I was playing through, because I was like, oh, these are really meaningful, and the way the Earthen have a choice to make, and the way they deal with memory, and the way they deal with loved ones and memory, and the way they become their own memorial statues when they die, in the pose that they want their friends to remember them by. I was like, hell yeah,
I love it. I love
so good.
You've got this society and the whole thing is this exploration of what happens in a society of basically it's Asimov-ian, honestly. It's like Asimov-ian robot sci-fi, because it explores a lot of the same themes, and it's they are robots created to do labor, right? And they're created to do this labor. They live forever, basically. They just have to go and recharge every now and then, and when they do, they wipe their memories, apart from critical functions, because otherwise their brains would explode, because they'd have too many memories after being alive for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So they've got these hazy recollections of past times, as if they're different ages, but they were there. They just don't remember them, sort of thing. And they're in this loop of labor, and then their masters disappear, and they're carrying on with this labor, and then the machine breaks, and they can't recharge anymore. And it's this amazing thing of you have a faction that is no, we're not going to do this anymore. We don't want to keep coming back just to work for these guys that aren't even here anymore, and we would prefer the dignity of death, and we will just going to stand here in this graveyard when it's time to go, and you're just going to have to cope with that, sorry. And then you've got the ones who are well, we're working and we're still sticking to the edicts, and we've got to find a way to kind of preserve ourselves until the machine is working again. It's just it's so great.
Or we need to keep doing our tasks and preserving the worlds, even if I'm going to die in midst of that, that is what is important to me. And they're the ones that they always have a plan for how they're going to decommission and so
those are my favorite ones.
Oh my god, it's affecting, and it's thoughtful, and it can be funny, when you're doing the theater plays in the proscenium, and they're it deals with those themes too, forgetting your loved one, and then the evil taskmaster comes along, and and it's such a goofy little story, but it kind of captures that. So the Earthen are kind of this perfect encapsulation of that. And then you have Hallowfall, which, it's this constant...
Their mortals literally fighting for their lives every single day.
They're constantly fighting.
It's a really nice contrast to that, actually.
Yeah. And they're trying to keep, literally the flame alive. They're trying to stay alive. And this light for them is the symbol of life, and quite literally keeps them alive and safe, and keeps the darkness and death away, and also in in Ashkahet, in Nerubian society, where they're spiders and they're freaky, and they eat you, and they might eat each other, and but still their matriarch, who has gone through all this stuff and is this monstrosity, they still love her and want her to preserve her. And I was I'm whoa. I had a moment where I was wow, okay, War Within does death so well, and topics around it so well. That's what's going on here.
It's fantastic. I love how you have the Unbound on Dornagal, who they've made this conscious decision to take their death into their own hands in a way. But then that you have a similar thing going on down in the Ringing Deeps, but these are people that are still committed to work and stuff, but they have no choice. But it's like, we have to find somewhere just to stand while when we go offline, and like some of them do it in nice kind of like patterns, looking at each other and stuff like that. But they do it in the hope that they will be brought back one day. And it's just, oh my God, I love it so much. And it's such high fantasy. And it's just like
it?
such
It's well
interesting themes, and like the contrast between the Earthen who just live forever and in drudgery basically, and you know, they find little moments of art and expression in that, and they forget everything, and you know, they're kind of just winding down as well after thousands and thousands of years. And compared that to like the very fleeting dangerous existence of the Hallowfolians, the Arathi, where you know, at any moment they just might be snuffed out forever in these short tiny little lifespans they have.
Exactly. And Farron is such a great character because, you know, she's the lamplighter, and like, you know, she loves children, and like she has this love of like life and care, and but she's still like an absolute bamf.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's so beautiful. And then in like the Nerubians, you know, you have the choice of being a kind of this kind of grotesque spider creature, or this slightly more elegant, like bipedal ascended version of yourself. But still, you have this whole bit where you learn about, you know, what you see as a bit kind of disgusting and weird, as Nerubians. Like they are people. They're as like us as society. It's like, you know, it's like that video we watched about kind of you know, Rings of Power and Tolkien and the orcs, and like the orcs are a people, right? You know, so you can't just genocide the orcs, right? Because they are actually, they have little orc babies and orc families and things.
Like even in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, when they, you know, before Tolkien had his big kind of turnaround and been like, oh, this is problematic, they have souls, I'm a Catholic and I don't know how I feel about it. And he spent the rest of his life trying to kind of make that work and make it okay. But even in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, before he did that, you know, those orcs have names, those orcs have agency, they're talking about how they don't want to really be in the army anymore and stuff like that.
And they're hungry.
Exactly. Like even then he couldn't just make them like this pure kind of faceless evil thing, which is what he was trying to do.
Exactly. And it is so interesting. Yeah. So just these broader themes of like life and death.
Fascinating. And you know, I'm so into folklore and stuff, and being from this country is great for me, and because like we have such rich folklore in England and Wales, and it's brilliant. And there's just this really cool folky feel about so many of the quests I've done in Dornogal and Hallowfall, and this idea of like legends and just myths and the way stories evolve and stuff like that. And you know, you've got sort of the Earthen living with like living myths, because this is stuff that they were literally interacting with in their last cycle, but that they don't remember anymore. So it's like they're rediscovering everything all the time. And then you have the Arathi, who are kind of interpreting their own culture, which less and less of them remember as they die, and children are born like under the ground, and you know in 20 years time, 10 years time, there'll be hardly anyone that actually remembers the actual Arathi Empire there, and it'll all be people who were born underground, and everything there is going to be this approximation of Arathi culture, and which is almost like a museum that they're kind of keeping and kind of living by on the stuff that's been passed down. And it's just so I love it so much. Another thing I really like about it is, I think it is, you know, the quality of the quests notwithstanding, even just the way they're presented is so much more RPG than we're used to in WoW. I think this is by far the most role-playing WoW expansion ever.
I agree completely. Like intentionally role playing.
Oh
like
yeah,
made
absolutely.
for role playing.
Like they literally have moments where it's like, you're just going to do some role play now. Like we're just going to go D&D on this shit for a little bit, and you're just going to like, we're actually just going to role play like in the middle of this quest line, and you're going to go to the pub and you're going to get some drinks in, and you're just going to chat.
You're going to listen.
You know, like if that's not really your sort of thing, it only takes a couple of minutes. But if it is your thing, holy shit, you've got pages to read. If you want.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, you know, the way I used to play WoW was that I I was really hit or miss with even reading quest text,
Yeah.
right? Like there are whole expansions or whole storylines where I would rarely read the quest text because I was like, that's not what this game is about, right? And that's okay. That's cool because people play it in like a million different ways for a million different reasons. But for people who do enjoy the storytelling and the RPG element of it, like this is really works in this expansion. Like I've never sat down and just done all of the stay a while and listens. Like before they were there because it's like, oh, hold on, major lore character Jaina is gonna tell us something important and juicy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is going to be a major lore moment that I need to listen to and absorb, or, you know, that's it really. But now it's like stay a while and listen to just like loads of different characters and you just get so much story.
Stay a while and listens are fantastic, but they're not, and in abundance, like so many of them kind of everywhere. And the thing is, like literally after every quest you pick up or give in, like it really pays to just click on the people that you're with. Just click on those characters because they've probably got different lines now, like different kind of like text lines to read. And there might be a stay a while listen that you might miss if you don't like click on them all the time, you know. And it's so there's these multiple. I've actually got into the habit now, something I've never done before because I didn't need to, but I had to actually train myself into this because I realized I was missing stuff because I would like accept a quest, but then you just have to stay still for a couple of minutes to see if they start talking to each other.
Right, yeah.
Because I read
usually
the
you
quest
just
text.
run away,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. I read the quest text and I go, okay, accept quest, or like turn in quest or whatever. But I've actually trained myself just to stand there because more often than not, it feels like there's a whole conversation which is about to happen. And, you know, it's sometimes it's just like I'm summarizing the quest text that I know you just didn't read because you're going to need to know this thing when you're going off to the quest. But a lot of the time, it's literally just a cool interaction between the two characters or whatever that are there that you just miss. And it's just flavor, but it's just really awesome and really nice. And I love that. And I love that I've trained myself to literally just like click a button and just take my hands off the keyboard for a second and wait to see if they start having a fun conversation. It feels so great. And like after every quest, I click on every NPC that's there and involved in it because they might have something different to say.
Yeah.
And then there's often a really cool stay a while and listen to do as well. Oh, man.
And that's the thing. It doesn't feel like a throwaway. Like before,
exactly.
You know, I was like, I'm not going to do this because it's just going to be like filler. It's just going to be, you know, it's going to feel like filler. And that's not to like discredit any of, you know, kind of the quest writers and the people who put it together. But in the past, you know, ages ago, like in WoW, it just felt like, yeah, it's just kind of there and you don't really have to do it. It's there for like the niche players who just want to, you know, have a story experience. But I hope that this kind of comes across also for, you know, players who are just, you know, in it to push keys or whatever. Like I get the sense
That's fair too. Like,
I hope that but I mean, which is also just like totally cool. But I hope the sense of like it being a good expansion in terms of like story and cohesion. I hope that carries through into kind of the more systems and elements as well.
I'm going to make a video on on like the amazing new and refined RPG elements in this questing so far because I really like it. I think it's fantastic, and especially with you know, I think the it's brilliant everywhere, but I think there are such good examples of it in Hallowfall with Faerun. You know, you keep going back to it. There's the one in like the actual questing campaign where you've just been fighting and then you go to the pub, and that one's great. But then you've obviously done the one where you play the board game with her later on.
Yeah.
And there is literally just like 20 minutes worth of just reading that you can do there if you want. And it's brilliant. My little kind of like codex collecting kind of fantasy like 14-year-old self was just in heaven with it, and I love it. And there's so much great character and flavor, and the zones and the peoples in the zones are worth it as well. It's so rich, and it's so, I mean, there's so many new assets in Hallowfall for a start. You know, like so many just like literal new objects and things that have been designed for it, and it's like, well, it's not gonna be just Hallowfall that we use these objects in, right? Surely. And I love it so much. This rich history, and there's a genuine mystery going on with the Earthen and the Titans and their relationship, and Donegal, which you get little glimpses of and things like that. There is a lot of intrigue surrounding the Arathi Empire and what their whole deal is. It's just so great. I love it. It's such a great RPG vibe. It's the best. Like, WoW has never been this good a role-playing game as it is right now. And I love that. And I just want to thank kind of whoever has, the many people probably, but whoever has allowed that to happen, because it's so satisfying and it's so cool. And it gives me like great optimism that the World Soul Saga as a story and a storytelling kind of platform can be amazing. And I can't enthuse about the questing and the stories and the different ways that you can get into the characters and know them and pick up little bits and bobs here and there. The environmental storytelling is incredible as well.
It's so
like the books
good.
and stuff that you find around the place
It's
are
so
genuinely intriguing.
Yeah.
Like there's that Arathi guy that sends you around looking like to answer a quiz.
Oh yeah, I
and you have to
still
go
haven't
around
done
and
his
find
stuff yet for the
totally.
achievement. I've like done some of them, but I have to answer more of his questions still. Like there were a couple of places in Hallowfall, also in like the whole Puppet Master quest line when I'm just in his workshop. Like I felt, like a bit of a Baldur's Gate 3 moment where I was walking around like looking for stuff to click on,
magical.
like opening urns, right? But just like I felt part of the environment. It didn't feel tacked on, or it didn't feel just like a standard room with the same graphical elements that you're like, I know that the door is here and the object I click is here and that's it. Like it really felt fleshed out. So exciting to see that in action after, we've had these kind of conversations with Maria Hamilton about the world being a character, the environment being a character. And I mean,
but I think it really is. I think it's been a
100%.
huge success and I love it. And there are WoW devs in our chat right now, and I'm really glad they are to hear us say this stuff because it's just so good. Like it's like I'm genuinely so, and like the best it's ever been, and when you get people being so enthused about the expansion and talking on about how like how good it feels right now, that's one of the things they mean for sure is that just incredibly rich world building and character, and it feels like the writers are having a lot of fun with it as well. It feels like there's a lot of love in it. And I don't know why I like Dragonflight a lot, but I don't know why it feels so much more satisfying than in Dragonflight, but I think it does. I don't know. I maybe it's just newer. I don't know. But
maybe I loved and like enjoyed Dragonflight, but it was just kind of like the way they've marketed the two expansions. I was gonna say two games. They're basically two different games, right? Like, two expansions was it kind of sums it up for me. Dragonflight was coming home. Like it's time to come home, and War Within has been get back in the fight, right? So the vibe of Dragonflight was always like, it felt cozy, it felt nice, it felt like pretty smooth, like seamless. There's some new systems that I learned that you pick up along the way, and that was how it felt, and it was really satisfying. But now War Within feels, again, like things are at stake, like things just have become more meaningful, and it just becomes deeper.
Yeah, and a phrase that you are hearing a lot of, and I've put it on the thumbnail for this as well, is like it does feel like Warcraft again, and you hear that like all over the internet. And but what's weird is like we've never had this in Warcraft before. We've never had this level of kind of storytelling and story delivery and the detail and the stay a while and listens and the conversations that just happen and this does feel like a much higher level than we've had before, and that includes Dragonflight. Honestly, I think it's like such a step forward in terms of that stuff. And being a good old RPG player like I am, a lifelong RPG fan, and one of the reasons I like WoW is because of the RPG elements. Like I love pressing buttons and killing bosses, but I love all the RPG stuff as well, and it just feels so good and so satisfying.
What's really telling for me? The number of people fully committed to wearing Arathi transmog cosplay.
I mean, that is baller as
because
heck.
It is cool. It is cool. But part of it is like, I'm part of this story right now. I'm wearing this transmog right now, right? Like it is really cool, and I'm doing the same things. I'm like, it looks awesome. Like I am part of the crew now, right? And Yeah.
It is cool, and yeah, I do like feeling at home there, and yeah, and oh my god, and then all those farmstead like event quests and stuff. It just feels nuts. It's great.
Oh, they're insane. Yeah.
So yeah, huge props to that. I'm probably gonna make a video kind of basically saying everything we just said, but in a more formulated way, and picking up on like some really cool RPG elements I think that are in the game, which are new, which is fantastic, and like I just really like it. So yeah, your kind of final thoughts on Loremaster? Can you kind of sum it up?
I feel like a master of lore. I have to say, I think this might be the first time I've done Loremaster for an expansion.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Like consciously.
I think I set out to do it.
Yeah, I set out to do it.
What about kobolds? Do you like kobolds? Because you kind of hit a wall in Ringing Deep's questing.
I wouldn't say it was a wall. It was the first time where I was like, no, they've totally grown on me. Likewise, the goblins as well, like kobolds, goblins, Niffin. Now, bringing in the Niffin and the goblins, genius, because now I'm like, okay, they've like balanced each other out.
They do have a good yin and yang going on there.
They do have a good thing going on, and I feel like I didn't get enough of the Niffin because I didn't like going into Zaralak Caverns, so I just kind of avoided it. But yeah, cool. So so like kobolds, Niffin, goblins. I have grown to enjoy them, and I love the way that they're integrated into the zones. Yeah, actually, I think
I do love their folklore. I love like Darkcleft, dungeon is awesome.
Yeah.
And I love they have this legend of the darkness and stuff like that, and it's a big void thing that kind of just comes running at you. It's awesome. It's so cool, and I love all that. At the moment, it's one of those kind of, I see a kobold in the Ringing Deeps, and it's like, I'll do some other side quests first because I just can't quite get over the Gollum voice right now. But I am open-minded. I am open-minded about it, and I'm willing to be won over, and I have no doubt I will be won over because the expansion's done so well with that stuff so far. Yeah. So I have no doubt that it will kind of nail it for me. But But this is the first expansion for sure where I went in and very quickly started questing, leveling up, and was like, I want to do Loremaster, and I want to 100% every zone quest-wise. Awesome. It just feels like the right thing to do, and it definitely was. I do too, and I'm really enjoying getting all my footage for it, because it's a slow process for me when I'm going through those quests, because I like to get the footage, I like to catalog it so it's all easy on hand, and one thing I do really like doing as well is I like going through footage of main quests and stuff and separating out all the stay a whiles and listens, all the in-game cutscenes, and having those easily cataloged. But with this expansion, it's just taking so long because there's so much of it, and interesting dialogues and stuff as well. So I'm just so pardon me, so happy with that side of the game so far. I'm just I'm pleasantly surprised and blown away by it, honestly. So great, but I can't cream about it anymore because people call me a shill, right? So too late. It's right. I will shill the RPG elements in War Within. I think it's fantastic. And I will shill this expansion because I think it's brilliant. You should. So good, even though disc sucks. I don't mind. I'm down. It's cool. Yeah. So I think it's time to move on to our super chats, unless there's anything else you want to kind of cover. Let's do super chats, and then we'll wrap up with our giveaway after that. Oh yes, we'll come up with a giveaway keyword term. Yeah. Do you want to Oh, right, yeah, because we're just going to have it and we'll pick a winner later on. We'll announce it next episode. Okay, yeah, cool. Sounds good. First one, Michał Prorok, not Michael. I'm so sorry. Did I get it wrong? It's okay. It's okay. Sorry, everyone. First time catching you live from the very beginning. Yes. Thank you. Sad I was wrong with the Illyria Varisa color scheme theory. Oh, it was such a good theory. Right, I really liked it. Yeah. No, the idea that Varisa died in Dalaran, and the new costume for Illyria was a tribute to her color theme, right? Yeah. I'm with you. Thank you, Espo Markers, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you. And then Emmett, 2 theories. 1, what do you think about the world soul being the Earth Mother? Interesting. And 2, the Titans have fallen equals the order cosmology Titans have fallen into the void. Fallen into the void. Lots of void arcane pairings. Ethereals and Koresh, for example. Yeah, that's super interesting. Okay, so the Earth Mother stuff, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, and kind of always was in a way. And, the Tauren are one of the... native species of Azeroth. They've been around like forever, as far as mortal races go. And, you know, who knows, maybe they were around in the Black Empire as well, as kind of captives, or like, you know, I hasten to use the word cattle, but, you know, like kind of like we know that the Black Empire did keep like mortal races as livestock, kind of, really. So yeah, there's no reason why the Tauren couldn't have been there. And I think it's highly likely that a lot of the Earth Mother stuff is connected to the actual real world, so or could be something completely different. So yeah, I'm really interested to see if any of that kind of ties in, because I love all the Earth Mother stuff. I love Tauren kind of like folklore and kind of belief system and stuff, and I wish we explored it a little bit more, and I wish it was tied into the stuff that we know in Azeroth a bit more as well. There are moments when it does happen, and I always love it. I just think that, yeah, I feel like the Tauren generally are massively underutilized in pretty much every situation. They're one of my favorite races.
Oh, they really are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other issue with the Horde, I think, feeling a little bit sidelined.
I'm really hoping, and I say this as someone whose main is an alliance, but I do play both factions a lot, and I just really hope that next expansion, which, by the way, I'm going to put this out, is something I've been thinking about.
Okay.
I think, like, whenever, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that does this, when I think I'm really enjoying War Within, I think it's like going to go down as, there's no reason right now why it won't go down as one of the best expansions. I think it's just terrific. I think it's like a classic. I get so excited when I think about Midnight. Like,
okay, because
when I think about Midnight, I just like, every button in me is pushed. Like, I get little
what happens at midnight?
I come to bed. No, I start playing Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I start playing Space Marine. Yeah. Columbo. I finished my episode of the Columbo. I pour myself a nice little whiskey or something. I come out. I queue with some absolute noobs in Warhammer 40,000. I get annoyed with them for being rubbish. They get annoyed at me for playing Assault Marine. And but no, like, when I think of Midnight, I get little butterflies in my tummy, because I think about how good it could be. Just the whole concept of it speaks to me so much. It's like, it's got the potential to be the literal, like, perfect storm of awesome WoW stuff, right? Like, and you know, it's helped very much by the fact that War Within is so good and such a good start to this World Soul Saga, right? But think about it, it's so good. Like, it's the first time, I guess we did it in Cataclysm for leveling, but it's the first time for like an expansion zone where they're repurposing an old zone completely, like a bunch of old zones, and like a whole part of an old continent for the new expansion. And like, they're gonna, you know, all of those zones in the north, and like Silvermoon stuff, they're all gonna get reworked. They're all gonna be like so cool. And it's going to be,
keep forgetting about that. Yeah, that's going to be incredible.
Like, it's one of the best places in the game now, and like, it's going to be so meaningful. And it's going to be so satisfying when they kind of rework it all, and they have this storyline where it's like, it's the Void Legion, isn't it? Right? It's going to be the huge Void attack on the Sunwell, and it's going to be really focused. It's going to be voidy shit everywhere, and I love the Void. They're my favorite baddies, obviously. Hopefully Xalatath will still be around. We're going to get like so much good Blood Elf lore. We're going to get so much good like elf lore in general. Reunification. Sylvanas is probably going to come back for a bit. You know, it's going to be so cool. It's going to be such like a kind of a pairing of the circle, and kind of like really just like, you know, this is a people that have been through so much, and they have so many like open threads and so much that they need to kind of like work through. And I just think I think it's the perfect time to bring in player housing. I'm not even joking. Like, there can be no better expansion for bringing player housing than, like, we all are just going to live in Silvermoon for a little bit, right? And we know that they're rebuilding houses in Silvermoon right now. There's a whole story about it.
Yes, of course.
And like, you know, a huge kind of all or nothing attack on the Sunwell is going to be good anyway, like the ultimate void attack on the Sunwell, and we're defending it. But imagine if we're not just defending the Sunwell, we're literally defending our homes, because we have player housing in Silvermoon now. It would be so good, so good. It's the second part in like a trilogy, and the second part is always the best. And it's gonna be. I'm just like every time I think about Midnight, I just get so excited.
I can
and
tell.
War Within is laying down this like,
something in you,
incredible
like-
foundation for it. Yeah, no, genuinely.
Yeah.
And like I just think that Midnight is going to be like a golden time for WoW, and I'm so excited about it. And,
Wow.
and I just hope that I hope that Blizzard doesn't do anything fucking stupid, which they might. You know, I hope that they keep the team all in one piece. I
Well-
hope they don't like do something. I hope Microsoft don't do something stupid and spoil this awesome moment that we're in right now. And that you know, the potential that it has. Like I think it could be, I just think we're onto a really good thing right now. And Midnight has all of the pieces just waiting to fit in place to be like the ultimate WoW expansion.
Wow.
Yeah, like
Wow.
genuinely, I like,
Okay.
you know, yeah,
Wow.
I'm 1,000,000% sold on the idea of it. I think there's so much potential. Sorry. Anyway, that was the Earth Mother stuff. The Titans have fallen. The Order Cosmology Titans have fallen to the Void. Lots of Void Arcane pairings. Eternals and Koresh, for example. Yeah, and I'm
Ethereals,
pretty
yeah.
sure that Ethereals and Koresh will be important later on in this expansion. With the whole Arcane Void thing, I'm not so sure. I think like Dimensius lore is that he ripped open the Twisting Nether and attacked Koresh that way. So there was Void and Arcane coming from the Twisting Nether, which he was bombarding Koresh with, and they managed to protect themselves against the Void, but the Arcane blew him away, and that's why they're like, you know, arcane beings now. That's TBC lore when the Twisting Nether was basically everything, and there wasn't like the cosmology that we recognize now. So all the other kind of what we now would call the cosmological forces, they were all just in the Twisting Nether, and that's what the Nether was. So you rip that open, yeah, there's no reason why you can't bombard someone with Void and with Arcane. The lore has been refined since then, and I think they're probably gonna kind of skip the whole Arcane thing with Dimensius. I think they're gonna just forget that. I
You think
feel
his
like,
model is going to change too?
yeah, totally. And I feel like it's just going to be like very, very Void centric. But I'm open to be wrong about it. Yeah. And but I think the Void and the Titans are. I think it's going to work better for Midnight and for Last Titan if they're very diametrically opposed forces fighting over the world soul sort of thing, and the light is also a different thing fighting for the world soul, etc. I just feel like they're going to want to keep them separated in that sense. So yeah, I get where you're going with it. I'm interested to see what they do with the ethereal stuff, because I'm sure there will be some in this expansion. I'm if I had to put money on it, I bet on 11.2 being on Koresh. So I'm just really good at throwing away my money, Evie.
Yes, you are.
Just really, the only bets I win are ones where I get you to dress up as stuff. I think
true.
I'm more motivated for those ones. How's your Zaltath cosplay coming on? By the way?
Getting there.
Yeah,
It's getting there.
Awesome. I did the Chromie quest in Dragonflight on my Earthen, and the old gods were all roots. The roots will dig deep into the blood and such. Have you done a video on that? So we're talking about the Bronze Dragonflight quests at the beginning of Dragonflight, where you go back to the Black Empire with Chromie, and all the old gods are talking to you, or 4 of the old gods are talking to you at least.
Right.
The 5th one nowhere to be seen. You know, it's easy to like separate out which old god is which by the voice lines, and the Zoth says, I believe the exact line is, deeper, deeper its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. And the thing I love about Old God Whispers is that, you know, they mean everything and nothing at the same time, don't they? Like, you can apply them to literally every character, every moment in every expansion if you want to. But there's no doubting the fact that, you know, deeper, deeper, its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. That definitely has taken a different spin, I think, since, you know, Ashgahet and the roots of, everyone thinks Aluna here, the World Tree, and the fact that it does seem to be digging into like Void territory and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be very significant. It's kind of impossible to read that and not think it's going to be tied into the main plot somehow. HS Arrow says, have you two considered Ko-Fi instead of Patreon? Pirate Software says it's like Patreon, except it's a flat $4.50 a month instead of Patreon's 8% per sub. I don't know anything about this kind of stuff.
No,
Maybe this is your wheelhouse.
This is my domain. I mean, we have been considering kind of shifting away from Patreon. The only thing holding us back is the fact that everyone is there. Yeah, the community is there. People have kind of we've been there for so long. We've amassed a huge amount of like content and videos and stuff on there. So, you know, apart from the logistical move, I do understand that, yeah, there are probably like financially more viable and more helpful options than Patreon. That is something we will maybe look at in the future, but like it's always on my mind basically. And I appreciate any kind of like advice or any thoughts that people have on this to see what works better. It's just a big gamble.
I just feel like we've got such a good thing going with Patreon. And we've got a community there which we've had for like years. It's just such a lovely community, and I wouldn't want to do a WoW 2 and break them up. Do you know what I mean?
Jay Tark is next. Thank you, Jay. Hi, Talia and Evie. After last week's discussion on whether Xalatath was absorbing different cosmology elements into the Dark Heart, do you think this could relate to the Jailer's final words? Ooh.
Yes. Probably. Do you mean that, like, I mean, is Xalatath trying to unite the cosmologies like the Jailer was in a kind of way, but in her own different way? Like, the Jailer wanted to unite the cosmologies, right? He just wanted to rule them all. He was like, we all need to unite to defeat the threat that's coming. And also, I need to be your leader. And also, you need to bow. And, like, I feel like maybe Xalatath is doing the same thing, but she's just skipping that step. And she's like, all right, everyone inside the Dark Heart.
Yep.
You're going to be mine to command
right now.
Yeah. But then I get, it's quite possible, honestly, because it does seem with all the imagery around the Dark Heart and in that latest cinematic that that is clearly what she's trying to do. She's trying to get all of like the kind of power from each cosmology, like orange slice, orange segment in there, and for what ends. Who knows? Yeah.
And also interesting to note that the Dark Heart can or could absorb, it absorbed someone in it, didn't it? I don't know if it's a bit of a spoiler, but exactly. It can absorb microparticles of human beings.
Well, we're buddies with someone that's been in that Dark Heart.
Arcane beings, right?
Can't wait to hear what they've got to say about it. For sure.
Exactly. I think we may get some insights.
Yes.
As to what it was like on the inside. William Barber, thank you. When do we get the 40k transmog for the Emperor? Have you seen Mavamwi? Have you seen Tally's character?
Oh yeah, my main character in WoW, Mavamwi.
What's the Warhammer vibe that you're going for? Inquisitor.
She's got the Inquisitor title. She's got an Inquisitor vibe going on.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you should see my Space Marine look at the moment.
Oh, wow.
It's a WoW podcast. I'm not going to talk about it. That looks so good.
No.
Dark Angel Assault Trooper. Oh, so good.
Elithil, thank you so much. I wish you'd make a video about essential improvements for our peers, like the thread, an open letter to Blizzard, essential quality of life improvements for role players and wishes on the EU forums. Maybe check it out someday.
Yeah, okay,
we'll definitely check that out. Yeah, no, for sure. Like anything that kind of works as an improvement for the game for any like gameplay style, I think is like valid and good. I will take a look at that thread. Actually, thank you for sharing that.
We play on Argent Dawn, and one of the reasons we love Argent Dawn so much is because it's just like such a vibrant server.
It's just so awesome.
And such a great community, and we're not like involved in the RP element of it, but there's been like some magical times when I've kind of stumbled upon it. I'll never forget just like logging into a character who was in Orgrimmar one day just after the burning of Teldrassil live in game, and like crowds of people outside the throne room calling for Sylvanas to come and explain herself, with like Forsaken characters wandering around being guards and stuff and intimidating people. It was just magical. Cool. It was so good, so great, and that kind of shit happens all the time on that server, and it's brilliant. So anything that makes their lives better and easier, I'm completely up for. We'll look into that.
Quasimudu.
Oh, hello.
Thank you so much for Quasimudo. Thank you so much. That's awesome to see you here. Do you think the Arathi Empire actually exists?
I love that question. That's such a great question.
Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah, I love the idea that it's just a thing that doesn't even exist, and it's kind of like
trying to return to this home that was never there in the first place.
Yeah, that's kind of magical. I kind of really like that. I mean, and there's whole different levels that I like the idea that it's just this grand illusion kind of propagated by the kind of higher ups in their religion and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, because it would that kind of like conspiracy would totally flourish in like their society, right? Because of the way it's built.
Well, and there's also the question of what has happened to the Empire since they've been away. They've been away for 16 years, so maybe it did exist in the way they thought, but now it just doesn't anymore.
It literally doesn't.
Or maybe there was like some literal time travel involved when they got teleported as well. Like maybe they set off on their voyage like 1,000 years ago, for all we know, and the teleport kind of just took them forward in time 1,000 years. So like when we actually get to Arathi at some point, it'll be like this ancient broken civilization that died like 1,000 years ago or something like that.
Or
and they're like, wait, what happened here?
Yeah, or it's the other way around, and they traveled like back in time. The actual Arathi Empire doesn't even exist.
Yeah. Oh wow. So they found their own empire.
Yeah, or like they are remnants of a society that hasn't even started like flourishing yet, so they have to like create it from scratch.
Oh,
right?
I like that. I like that idea as well.
Yeah,
but it's easy to create from scratch. They got all the buildings and the books already, so it's like, yeah, here we go. I think there's like so much fun you can have with that. I think the most likely explanation is that everything is as it seems, but it's just like, you know.
Yeah, I like to think.
I just love that question. Yeah. Thank you. That's a really good one. And Alexandru, human shaman, please. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. 1,000,000% facts. Just print it, make it so, make it happen. Hey, have you, but really quickly before we finish, have you seen like the Drakthea new classes? Have you had a chance to play with them?
I haven't had a chance to play with them.
It's so dumb.
But good.
They're so dumb.
No, they're great.
I know, I love them.
There must be a lot of synergy between Drakthea abilities and
their glide is so OP.
It is so good.
It's outrageous.
Gliding in and then crushing, like imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's wild. Anyway,
right.
It's great. I'm happy it's happening. Thank you everyone for joining us today for our new time slot on a Tuesday at 1:15 UK time. I think we're going to stick to this one.
We are. And to wrap up, we are. Before you keep forgetting, Tally, we are giving away a collector's edition. I don't know.
I hate giving people presents. I hate anything that isn't for me.
I know,
it's not mine.
Like,
it's not given to me, so I'm just not interested in it.
Little golem. But no, we have a War Within collector's edition, which we are giving away to you guys, the listeners of this podcast. So the way you will take part in this is you'll need to go down to the comment section below. This will be, so right now there's a chat happening. What we'll need you to do. So
you're going to have to come to the VOD after this live broadcast is finished.
Exactly.
You're going to have to write in the chat of the VOD. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast listening platform, then I hope the competition is still running.
Yeah.
And you'll have to come to our YouTube channel, Taliesin Nevertell, and you'll have to find the VOD. It'll be in the playlist.
It is for a WoW podcast, obviously, episode number 26. And in the comments, you'll need to type the keyword, and the keyword, Tally, is...
You want me to think of this?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Give me the word.
I would like you to type the sentence, do you think the Arathi Empire actually exists? And then I would like you to answer that question. You don't have to answer the question.
You don't have to answer the question.
But you do have to write and, try and spell it correctly, okay? Because you can just look at Quasimudu's comment in the live chat and you can copy paste it, right? But do spell it right because we're going to be searching for it. We're control F-ing this shit. So we will write it in the video description as well, so they can just copy and paste it easily. Of course,
for ease.
Absolutely, we will.
Do you think the Arathi Empire actually exists? Because I want everyone to think about.
And I'd like you to try and answer that question if you can for extra points. It won't help you win.
No.
But and we will choose a winner and we will contact you first. We will contact you asking you. Well, we'll contact you on our YouTube account. So it'll be a comment from us on your comments.
Yes,
if
and
you
only
win.
from us.
And
It's not
only
like
from us. We won't be using any other
we're not
YouTube
using
account or anything
Telegram.
like that.
We're not using anything else. It
And we
will
will
only
tell you that
be
you
this
win,
account.
you've won, and we will invite you to contact us at our email address, which is taliesinandevertel@gmail.com. Any other email address will be fake.
It's not
It will
us.
be a scam.
Okay.
If it's not a message from our YouTube channel on your comment, and if it's not asking you to contact us at taliesinandevertel@gmail.com, then it's not us, and I'm sorry, but we have helped you avoid a scam there, hopefully.
Yes, exactly. So everyone who is going wild in the chat, please make sure to put that comment also in the comment section of this video when it is posted.
when it's turned into a VOD when we stop the broadcast.
Exactly,
Okay?
exactly.
Brilliant. Well, I guess we should let people do that then.
We should. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. This is a really nice recap of what we've done so far, and
been
you
brilliant.
know,
I've
we're on the
loved
brink of
talking about
season
it.
1. Wrapping up the big lore master achievements and just really enjoying this expansion so far.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about the ending of the raid exactly 1 week after it's been public on next week's podcast.
Can't wait.
But thank you for everyone who did join us for our new time slot on a Tuesday. It's been lovely to have you here. Thank you to everyone listening on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you to everyone watching the VOD. We will see you next time. From me, Taliesin.
And me, Epitel.
Until next time,
Bye.
cheerio. Bye.